I'll brace myself for all this pain, erase myself and start again. Grab a hold of me and throw me in the deep end. Show me the flame that burns inside of me, and I'll brace myself for all this pain, erase myself and start again, and I'll face myself with honesty, erase myself and start again. Yeah, yeah. I can't remain without the refiner. It's time to change what used to define me. Resist the pain, I have to keep fighting. Ignite the flame that's deep down inside me. It hurts at first, but worth all the pain to see myself and not be ashamed. It hurts at first, but worth all the pain to see myself and not be ashamed. And I'll brace myself for all this pain, erase myself and start again, and I'll face myself with honesty, erase myself and start again. I toss and turn and tick by talk, the hours burn, pleading for this night to end. A part of me begging to go back to sleep. It sure is easy, but not for me. So here I am with all I have, waking up, facing what's in front of me. I won't back down, I can't stop now. I'm waking up so I can start to front of me. I won't back down. I can't stop now. I'm waking up so I can start to dream. So here I am with all I have. I'm waking up. I'm facing what's in front of me. I won't back down. I can't stop now. I'm waking up so I can start to dream. Your smile so deceptive that it almost looks real. Well, it must be hard to fake what you do not really feel. You're hiding, I know it. Tell me what's on your mind. I only wish to help. Won't you let me back inside? Say that it's over. Tell me the truth just one last time. I promise I'll help you. If only you'll let me back inside. Let me inside. Your face shows no reaction when I call out your name. Your presence like a ghost. You seem so far away, and you know that I love you, but the words seem to have died. I just want this to end. Please let me back inside. Say that it's over. Tell me the truth just one.
Well, good evening, folks, or good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you're in the world. Quincy Kane here, and this is live stream number 186. And for this stream, this is one of my favorite segments. Some of you might know that my favorite thing to do in the whole world is write songs. I love writing songs. And for this stream, I'm not really going to be performing. I am going to be performing a little bit because you're going to see me do some recording. You're going to see me play a little bit of guitar, do a little bit of singing. But for the most part, I'm not performing my songs. I'm going to be sharing with you my process, sharing with you something that I love so genuinely, which is the songwriting process. Let's catch up with the chat real quick. Silas, I see you've tuned in. Silas, let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your week's going. How are things going with the band and the songwriting for yourself? I know you're writing some new music and new material yourself, so definitely be sure to share some of that. And at any time that you have any questions during this segment, feel free to share them. So we've kind of got an interesting song here that I am sharing. If you were attending last week's stream, you might remember that I shared that I actually had a dream that inspired a song. I had a dream that I was playing a song and I could hear certain lyrics. And it's frustrating because, you know, in the dream it sounds cool, and then you wake up and you have a hard time kind of remembering what it was. And I remember grabbing my guitar and trying my best. You put your hands where they were in the dream, but it doesn't sound like what you were hearing in the dream, like what you were playing. It doesn't quite match up. So I did my best to remember, and there were really only a few little details. And I thought it'd be kind of fun. Like, I have messed with the idea, and I think the chorus is pretty cool. So I think this will be a future song. Now, again, today we are in the very early stages. Again, we're creating a rough draft here, maybe a first draft at best. But this is by no means going to be a finished product. We're in the very early stages of the song. So I'll kind of show you what we've got going on here. Here's my project. But I basically was inspired by what I heard in the dream. I took the few little lyrics, I took the few kind of notes that I could hear, and then just kind of messed around with them until I found something that did kind of stick with me and something that inspired me to go through. So I wouldn't say, I'm not going to say because this came from a dream, this is somehow like the best song ever or anything like that. I don't think it's quite like that. It's more like I had a dream, something sounded cool, couldn't really remember it, but it was enough to spark kind of a new idea. And to be honest, I don't really know the direction the song is going to go, so we're kind of going to find out together. Becky, good to have you in the chat. I was wondering if it would be this song, The Devil is a Liar. Yep, and I'm surprised you remember the lyrics, so that's kind of the only prompt I've really got for this song. So I'll share with you what I've got so far. I've actually gone ahead and recorded a little bit. I didn't want to just start completely from scratch. Kind of want to share with you guys what I've got so far, and then today we're going to see what else we got. What else we can discover with this song. Silas is saying, great to see you. I've been excited to see you. Well, thanks. I'm excited to see you as well, Silas. Appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, I was wondering if it was going to be that song from last week. Well, I'm glad you're both kind of here. Now, again, like I said, this is, I'll point out the part that came directly from the dream, I guess if you want to say that. But a lot of this, like if you can see all these tracks here, again, if you haven't seen, this is my recording software that I use, and we've got these different tracks. This green track, this is the drum kit, and then this blue right here, that's the bass. And then this other green, this lighter green, it's actually the vocal melody, but it's played on a piano. I'll often do that. I'll kind of write the melody because I don't have the words yet. And it also helps me when I do sing. It kind of helps me remember the melodies that I like, and I can sing along with it to sort of stay on key. And then the red tracks, these are different guitar tracks. Right now I've only got two. I've got a left and right guitar, just rhythm guitar parts. And then this is another guitar track at the bottom here, but this is sort of a clean crunch kind of guitar. And actually this part, I could distinctively hear an acoustic guitar in the dream. So I might, for recording, it's a little bit more practical just to plug in my electric and record that, but I might end up going with an acoustic guitar if I turn this into an actual song. Quincy, how was your adult Nerf game? Did you win? Well, thank you for asking, Becky. Yes, some of you know last week I was sharing that I was going to an adult Nerf game, and it ended up being a lot of fun. So the library, it's in a part, I don't want to say a part of town. It's in an area that I don't really go that way that much. It wasn't that far, but it was a library. It definitely isn't the library I normally go to. It was a different library that I go to. And what was pretty cool is we showed up, and the library was actually closing, but we had it reserved. Those of us showing up for the Nerf battle, we had the library reserved. So that was the coolest part, just being able to use the bookshelves as cover and being able to run in the library and just shoot at each other. So that was really cool. Apparently, about 20 people, if not more than 20 people, had registered, but there were only 12 of us total. So it was kind of a smaller group than maybe what they were anticipating. But they had pizza, they had soda, they had free food and drinks, which was really kind of them to provide for that. And apparently they've done this for other age groups. They've done it for kids and they've done it for teenagers. And maybe once or twice they've done it for adults. Maybe just once before. Maybe this was the first time. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting that confused. But we showed up, and there was actually somebody that I recognized from years ago. Again, I don't want to get into too much backstory here, but when I first graduated high school, I graduated in 2010, and that's when, at that age, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I knew I had a passion for music, but I had other passions too. Some of you know I'm really passionate about filmmaking. Well, there were some local filmmakers, and there are some local filmmakers in my town, and they've got something called the Filmmakers Republic. And I don't know if it was once a week or once a month, but they would meet up from time to time, and I think they would collaborate or they would share upcoming projects. And it was just kind of a networking kind of opportunity. And me and my cousin, we were interested in filmmaking, so we got plugged in there and met some people. So there was a guy I'd met there who was actually very kind to me and my cousin when we were first getting involved. He was very encouraging to us, and I kind of learned a few little tips here and there from him. But I hadn't seen him in a long time. And then I saw on Facebook that he was going to be at the event. And sure enough, he showed up and he came with his son and they brought their own Nerf guns. And so I got to catch up with him a little bit and it was nice talking with him. And we were mostly on the same team. There were a few matches where we were on different teams. And then everyone else was kind of new. I will say as far as like ages go, interestingly, I felt like there weren't a whole lot of people around my age, as in late 20s, early 30s. It seemed like it was mostly older teenagers or young, early 20s, like people that age or much older, like maybe 40s and even 50s. There's actually one couple that was there, and I thought it was kind of sweet that they were there. I mean, they had to be in their 50s. Like they were an older couple. But they were pretty enthusiastic about being there, and they were excited. I got to talk with the husband. I can't remember their names, but I was talking with him, and he loves any kind of combat simulation. So Nerf, airsoft, paintball, and even some sword fighting stuff that he was telling me about, which was pretty cool. So probably the best thing about it was just kind of a nice exercise to talk with different people. It was. I mean, any time I go out and do this, that's probably the best benefit from it is it's an exercise. You have no idea who you're going to be presented to, like what kind of people you're going to be around, what background they have, what age they are. And it sort of kind of teaches you, like forces you to kind of learn how to talk with anyone. So that's probably been the best benefit of just kind of learning to talk. And the thing I've had to accept is, the long-term goal is hopefully to find some peers, some people around my age, some friends, and eventually maybe a compatible wife or somebody, a potential wife. But I kind of have this analogy. It's sort of like exercising a little bit. It's not one workout that gets you in shape. It's the hundreds of thousands of workouts that get you that end result. And so in the same way, I think just going out once, it's not like, of course, I always kind of fantasize a little bit. I'm always like, maybe this will be the one time I'll go and there's that girl there that's just like super outgoing and fun, and we just click like that. That's what I'm always like kind of fantasizing, but then I kind of bring myself back down to reality. But on the other end, it might just be kind of a bunch of regular people, no one really compatible, no one really around my age. But I just kind of learned to just enjoy the adventure anyway. So that's kind of what I have to remind myself. So it's not going to be just the one time. It's going to be the lifestyle of just regularly getting out. But it was fun. We had a few different matches. To be honest, I didn't particularly perform super well. I'm not going to go on a rant about this, but when it comes to like combat stuff, I like action, and I don't really like competing against people who just camp and just wait. People who just stay hidden and then just kind of point and shoot. It's like, that's not really any fun. And so I was definitely being more of the aggressor, more of the attacker. And I don't mean aggressive in a negative way, just more of the instigator of going. And the risk that you pay for doing that is you are more vulnerable to being shot. But I was kind of there just to have fun anyway. I wasn't worried about like super performing or anything like that. But it ended up being fun. I think we had a couple team matches, and I think I was on some of the winning teams for a few of the matches. And I got some shots. Like I definitely got some people out and stuff. But for my standard, I didn't perform as well. But it was fun. If they do it again, I'll probably go again mainly to support it and just see if maybe more people show up the next time. It'd be nice if they kept doing it so that I don't have to show up to every single one, but if ever I wanted to, I could give it a shot and that kind of thing. But it was fun. It was a nice time. So thanks for asking about that. Let me catch up with the chat, and then we'll actually get to some music here. And yeah, it was a pretty big library. Silas saying, glad it was fun. Thank you. And it was pretty spacious. I mean, definitely enough room to run around and stuff. We weren't playing like upper or lower levels. We were just on one level, no stairs involved or anything like that. But there were definitely enough bookshelves and even other rooms that you could go into and hide behind the walls and see a lot of the walls. It was like plexiglass. You could see through them. Sounds awesome, says Silas. It was fun. Did you play Capture the Flag? We did. If I win again, I think in the future I would say both teams should know where the flags are, because we played Capture the Flag, but each team hid their flag. And I gotta say, going in, like I made it to their side and I knew I wasn't gonna make it out, but I just thought if I can just find the flag, then we'll have a shot at getting it. I ran all over that room looking. I could not find their flag, and in a couple of minutes, eventually I got shot. But so in the future, I think I'm going to make a suggestion. Let's make sure we know where the flags are, because it's just it's already hard enough to get past the base, you know, and then you have to find the flag. It's just it kind of slows down the pace of the action and stuff. So I didn't know what to expect this time going in, so I wasn't going to be too picky about the games and the rules or anything like that. But now that I know what to expect, I'd probably make some suggestions and not suggestions. I like making suggestions that make it more fun for everyone, you know, that make it more fair and balanced and stuff. So that's kind of the fun thing to do about games like that. Hey, Jack, good to have you. It's been a good week. I was just talking about the adult Nerf that I was checking out. It ended up being fun. Let's see here. Nice. I've been doing a whole lot of singing practice today, and I'm hoping to make a cover video of a worship song, King of Kings, tonight. I think I know what song you're talking about, King of Kings, but awesome. I hope that goes well. Definitely excited to see that when you put it out. And sounds like Becky might even remember that song from Sunday school. Jack, I think I have tonsillitis. I get it often. Well, oh, that's Becky talking. I was about to say, Silas, if you've got something with your tonsils, it's like you probably shouldn't be singing, but it's Becky. Man, Becky, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling better. Let me know how you are feeling. I think I recall you were a little tired one of the past streams, and so let me know if you've been resting a little better and feeling better. Definitely take care of yourself. Must be really hot over there because it feels hot here. We've actually had pretty good weather lately. Definitely not. We've actually had a bit of rain, so it hasn't been like scorching hot lately. Glad you had fun, Quincy. Thanks, Jack. Much appreciated. King of Kings has the lyrics, "In the darkness, we were waiting without hope, without light, till the heaven you came running. There was mercy in your eyes." Maybe. I'm not sure. I almost said naked Nerf. Yeah, it wasn't that kind of Nerf. Again, last time I was commenting on the word adult, and that would have been quite the surprise if that was the, you know, that was the adult part of the Nerf. It's like, oh, so we're very vulnerable targets, you know. So, don't know how you spell. Oh, I think you were trying to spell Nerf, I guess. I don't know how you almost got adult and naked mixed up, but yeah, that's funny. All right, guys, we're going to get into some music here, but guys, let me know how your week is going, if anything fun is happening. And I thought of kind of a fun question I might ask you. Again, this is a song that kind of was inspired by a dream. I'll go into more details about that as I dive in. But I wanted to ask you guys, what's the weirdest or best dream you've ever had? I might even type that in the chat, but I think that'd be kind of a fun story to share. So while I'm kind of talking, oh, maybe asking about the naked gun. I gotcha. Naked Nerf, I see. Yeah, if I haven't told you, Naked Gun was hilarious. I didn't get to tell you all that, did I? Has it been? Yeah, because it was just Sunday. Me and my brother, we did get to go see Naked Gun, and it was hilarious. Absolutely loved it. It was just fun being with my brother too. Like both of us, we love the original movies, so it was really fun just to have time to be together and get out and go see it. And it just felt so good being in the theater and like hearing him cracking up next to me. And there were some scenes. It's just joke after joke, and you know, not all of them are going to land, but the number of them that do land are really good. And there were even some sequences that have you on the verge of tears. So I absolutely loved it. It was a lot of fun. It was a great movie. So guys, if you like that kind of humor, definitely go check it out. I would say, you know, check out the trailer, and if the trailer kind of tickles you funny, if you find the trailer, like if it looks like a fun movie to you, then definitely go see it. And I would just say, like, go in with the mindset of just having fun. You know, don't go in like being too critical or like stingy. Go in with the mindset of just kind of having fun, and I think you'll really enjoy the movie. But it was really good. All right, let's see here. All right, cool. So yes, I'm gonna type that real quick. What's the weirdest or best dream you've ever had? Yeah, if you got any good ones to share, feel free to do so. I could probably share some dreams, but right now we're going to talk about this. So, yeah, last week I was saying I had a dream and I woke up and I was playing a song in it. But the problem is you have the dream and then you wake up and it's so hard to remember what actually happened. And you pick up the guitar and you put your hands where they were in the dream, but it doesn't actually sound like what you were playing in the dream. the only thing I could remember were some lyrics and kind of the music. So the only lyrics I could remember were "The devil's a liar," and the melody was something like "The devil's a liar," and I didn't have any other words. And I could distinctively hear this acoustic guitar. So I'll kind of let you hear that. That's kind of what this first part is. If you see this red track down here, it's not an acoustic guitar. It's just a kind of a clean, crunchy electric guitar. But it's just a single guitar. This green one, this is the melody I could kind of hear. And then this is just the drums kind of keeping the time so you can hear the pulse. But here's a little bit of what it sounded like. Hold on, I think I have the drum machine on, so it's playing a beat. 1 second, let me go back. Okay, so not much. It's just kind of this little part. But that's the part where I could hear, with the vocals, "The devil's a liar, you're not just da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da." It's kind of like the only thing I could get. I don't even have words yet. I'm going to try to use that line, "The devil's a liar," but it was able to inspire, it was able to inspire. The devil's a liar. It was able to inspire. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm in rhyme zone now, rhyme mode. It was able to inspire a concept for the song. I sort of mentioned this last time, so I think it's going to be sort of like those voices in your head that kind of discourage you, that say you can't do something or you're not good enough. And it's a song about. I think the title. To be honest, when I set out to write the title, I'm pretty pleased with how the words came out. Like, I think I've got a course for this song. Not the title, the course is what I meant. I think I've got a course for this song, and I like the concept of it. I think it's going to be called "The Gift Inside of You," and it's this idea that each of us has a gift inside of us that the world needs. Like, it's so easy to complain and feel hopeless about how dark the world is and how awful it is, but what the world needs are more people to step up and be good, and yet all the people who seem to want to see more good in the world are too scared to step up and be that goodness in the world, to step up and be that light. A lot of people, it's a lot easier just to sort of shut out the world and kind of keep to yourself, and this is a song sort of encouraging, hey, you've got a gift inside of you, and we need it. The world needs it. The world needs that gift, and rather than looking down on yourself, you've got potential. Now, the gift itself, it isn't so much, hey, you've got it, show it. It's more like you've got the potential, and you just need the motivation to step up and make it happen. So I'll kind of let you hear it without the vocals first, and then I think I'm going to record the vocals. But here's the lyrics I've got so far. I think it's going to be something, again, these are kind of temporary. "The devil's a liar," and then it could either be "you're not undesired," that was one thought, or don't listen to his words. That might be another one. And "it's time you hear the truth." I think that's going to set up the chorus. "And it's time you hear the truth. There's a gift inside of you." And it's going to go into that chorus. And the lyrics I have so far are, "There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change. Because you're so..." Hold on. I can sing them better than I can quote them. Let me grab them real quick. I've got them here. Let me see. Here they are. Okay, the words are, "There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change, because you're so much more than useless. All you need to do is realize that you can change, because you're so much better, and we need you more than ever. Open up your heart to the gift inside of you." So that's the lyrics I have right now, and for the most part, I like that. I think it fits good, and it's possible I might tweak a few lines or words here and there, but so far it fits. So I'll kind of let you listen to what I've got so far. I'll let you hear the melody with the piano, and then I'll actually record the vocals for you, and we'll see what happens. So that's the initial idea. I kind of came up with that melody and that chord movement. I'll play those by themselves. I also actually had to change the key from what I originally heard. Maybe it was the same key in the dream, but I had to sort of change it and figure out a way that I could play it, but also sing it in a comfortable range. So I did have to modify it a little bit. So this is what we've got so far, and I got to be honest. I love songwriting, but a big part of the process, I've said this before, songwriting, it's almost more like you discover the song than you write it. So the truth is, I've got like a few ideas, but I don't know what the verses are going to do. I don't have the rest of the song planned out. And when I'm on my own and I'm writing, like, that's fine. I'm okay with experimenting and trying things. That's part of the process. But when I'm on the stream, sometimes I'm a little intimidated because I'm like, man, am I going to come up with anything good? Am I going to be able to make this entertaining? So I just got to be honest. Today, we're just searching, and we're just going to see what we discover. Whatever I come up with today doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make it to the final product. But we're just going to start with, it always helps to just start with what you know and go from there. Usually you start with what you know, and then that kind of inspires something else you can try, and then that creates another idea, and that's just kind of how it goes. You're just sort of following the trail, and if it doesn't work, then you take a few steps back and try going a different direction with it. So we're going to start with vocals. I'm going to record some vocals, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. All right, let me give this a shot. I have to adjust my settings here. All right, there we go. So I'm going to try singing along with this to record some vocals, and then we're going to try writing some verses, write some more music parts. But I'm going to sing along with that piano bit. Let's see here. All right. Silas was saying the guitar and drum parts remind me of your song Guilty a little bit. I don't know. Guilty's a little... I can hear kind of a similar chord movement, but not exactly. I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah, kind of a slightly different rhythm though for Guilty, but I think I know the similarity that the connection that you're making there. That's really exciting, Quincy. Well, thank you, Silas. I like those lyrics. It's so awesome. It only took you a week to come up with all this. Well, the funny thing is, well, yes, I've only been dabbling with it a little bit. It's not like I've been working all week on this. Those lyrics actually came pretty quickly. I almost wrote them the same day, so, to be honest. Like, that's how it works sometimes. The music, I kind of had an idea for the chord movement, but like I said, the main thing I had to figure out was the key that I could sing it in. And so I kind of had like a temporary version. I didn't want to write too much because I had a feeling I would use it for this segment, and I didn't want to write too much because then that kind of defeats the purpose. It's like, well, then I've got nothing to write for the segment. So it's actually come pretty quickly. But yeah, kind of on and off throughout the week, I have had to sort of kind of dabble with it. But I wouldn't say I've really dived in deep with the song yet. So, all right, we're going to see what we get here. I'm going to record some vocals, and we shall see what happens. Okay. I enjoy getting a sneak peek into your up-and-coming potential new songs. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. I definitely, it's fun to share it, and yeah, I'm still looking forward to Poison. Yep, that one is definitely in the works. And working on some other songs, too, that you guys haven't even heard yet. So, again, I've kind of been trying to write kind of a new batch of songs and then go through the production cycle. So we'll see how that goes. All right, here we go. Let me do like a little warm-up real quick. The devil's a liar, you're not just... what? I don't know what the words are. You're not undesired, and it's time you hear the truth. There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change. All right, we'll give it a shot. These are kind of just temporary vocals, so they're probably not going to be like super awesome. Here we go. We'll give it like a couple tries. The devil's a liar, you're not undesired, and it's time you hear the truth. There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change, 'cause you're so much more than useless. All you need to do is
realize that you can change, 'cause you're so much better, and we need you more than ever. Open up your heart to the gift inside of you.
So a little something like that. Let's see how that came out. I'll have a listen back.
The devil's a liar, you're not undesired, and it's time you hear the truth. There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change, 'cause you're so much more than useless. All you need to do is realize that you can change, 'cause you're so much better, and we need you more than ever. Open up your heart to the gift inside of you.
Not bad for like a first try. I mean, that'll get the job done for now. So I am okay with that. Cool, cool. So we're gonna, at this point, we're kind of entering uncharted territory. We're kind of gonna, I have like some ideas for the verse, but we'll see what happens. So Jack was saying strange dreams. Well, a couple of days ago, I was having a conversation with Donald Trump. It was respectful. So yeah, I'm sure that was an eventful dream. And I saw your comment, Becky, just saying, can't remember too many good ones, just bad ones. Yeah, sorry about that. That happens sometimes. I definitely, most of my dreams are just bizarre, but every now and then I have a few dramatic ones. I don't know. I don't have too many nightmares, but I definitely have some like emotional ones that have to do with people that were important to me. And then I wake up and realize it didn't really happen. And it kind of like it, you just kind of wake up in anguish. So that's a story. You know. All right, let's see where we're going here. I'm going to pick up the guitar, and kind of one thing I'm learning is when you're writing a song, you kind of just got to create the pieces for it. I'm going to put this mic back here, and I got to adjust my settings again so that you can hear me better. All right, there we go. So I should be a little bit louder now. Okay, I'm thinking like this last little bit, I mean, this could be the ending of the song, but this same little riff here could be part of the intro. So that little dun 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 kind of thing. So if I grab the guitar, let's see here. I was thinking something like that for an intro. Like it could just be a simple "dukakum." And I'm kind of playing with these chords for the verse. I think I want that chord. Of course, it sounds a little out of tune, but it'll be all right for today. Let's see here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I had a melody too. I actually was thinking of it before the stream started. So this is what this phone is great for. When you have ideas, you record them because, yeah, I'm like, what was that melody? I'm glad I recorded it. So I don't have like a set melody, but there's kind of some notes I was dancing around. That's sort of how the melodic process works. You kind of just find those notes that make you go, ooh, I like that. And it's just a matter of experimenting and trying different combinations and patterns and trying to find the right sequence that just fits nice with the music. So let's see here. I am outside. I am beyond the inside. Yeah, so kind of a... So not really sure yet, but there's kind of something cool. I like that. Kind of those notes there. So, but let's start with just the music. Let me grab our hi-hat here. Let me go back to the beginning real quick.
The devil's a liar, you're not
Okay, so that'll work just fine. I'm going to take... So we're kind of recording a new section here. It's not like we're at the beginning of the song or this is what happens after the chorus. We don't know where in the song this is going to happen. We're trying to come up with a verse right now, so ideally this will happen at some point before the chorus and some point after, but there will probably be different versions of it. Right now we just got to start with what we know and see where it takes us. So I'm just setting up kind of something to keep time with, and then I can play, you know. So we'll get a couple guitars recorded, and then I'll make a drum beat for that, and we'll see what happens. Let's see. Becky was saying, I mostly dream about being chased or someone breaking into my house. I was looking up a video about like why we have dreams, and there are certain like common themes in dreams. Being chased is a pretty common one. I've had a few dreams. Sometimes I'll have dreams where I get into a fight, and it goes one of two ways. Either my punches are like jello, like they just don't do anything, and I do an awful job, or I totally dominate. It's one or the other. I definitely like the dreams where I dominate, where I'm like totally good at fighting, like totally destroying my opponents or whatever. But so that happens. And then have you ever had a dream with your teeth falling out? I hate those dreams. I haven't had one recently, but I've had one on more than one occasion. I've had dreams like that. So I've had those visceral dreams as well, Quincy. I had one about my younger brother. Woke up so excited to see. Yeah, man, that's got to be hard, man. It took me some time to remember he's no longer here. Yeah, sorry about that. I definitely, yeah, it sucks. It's amazing how real dreams can feel while you have it. And then either you're in the dream and suddenly you realize, wait, I'm dreaming, and then you wake up, or you wake up and find out, wait, that didn't happen, you know? So it can be pretty crazy. Had that dream last night, okay? Where my tooth fell out. Yeah, I hate those dreams, yeah, where your teeth are falling out. I'll be chewing on something and they just, like, I don't know. It's one of those icky things that kind of bothers me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and record these guitar parts, and we'll see what happens. We'll just kind of build off of them. I'll probably record the guitar parts first, and then create a drum beat to kind of match with it. So. Okay, let me switch to my scissor tool. So I'm going to do that same thing again. This is called double tracking, and it just means you record the same part twice, but you pan it left and right. So actually, out of curiosity, what do you guys like to watch these streams on? Are you watching on your phone? Are you on a computer, laptop, desktop? And do you wear headphones? Are you just listening through your computer speakers or your phone speakers? Let me know how you like to watch these streams. But left and right, if you're just listening through your phone and even just through your computer, you're probably not really going to notice. But if you have speakers on your computer, like left and right, or if you're wearing headphones, again, left and right, then you'll be able to hear each guitar on each side. It kind of gives a wider, bigger sound. But yeah, if you're just listening through your phone, you're probably not going to notice too much. So. And to be honest, again, that, you know, that line, the devil's a liar, I think that's going to be a pre-chorus. So that's something I have to think about too while I'm writing this. Like, yes, I'm going to write a verse, but the verse has to lead into that pre-chorus. It has to transition smoothly. So I'm not really going to know how to do that till I get the pieces in and I start playing with them. Because I think the verses are actually going to be kind of heavy, and then they'll go soft for that pre-chorus, and then kick back in for the chorus. All right, so here's our guitars. So now we're going to make a proper drum beat and have something kind of match that. Boom, 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 pa, boom, 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 pa, boom, 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 boom. I actually had kind of a random thought for this of maybe doing something more upbeat. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do this, but we'll try it for fun in a little bit here. Let's go with sort of my first instinct, and then I've got this kind of other version. It could work for like a verse 2, maybe. So we'll see. And you know what I haven't recorded yet? I'm working on the verse, but I didn't record the intro. So let me record one more thing, and then we'll get to the drum beat. So I'm gonna pull these back a little bit. Yeah, let's see. So right there, that's where we want our verse to start. Okay, so I'm going to record one more guitar part, and then we'll get to our drum beat. And again, this intro might change a little bit. I kind of like this chord, but this is open to change as well. Like, it's kind of just a chord, or whoops, I'd almost rather it be more riffy, but I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Again, you just got to start with what you do know. We'll go with it. It was a little sloppy, but again, this is just a demo. We're just making a first draft. So that's one thing you got to learn too. When you're just writing, you can't be too critical of yourself. You just got to get it good enough to get the idea. All right. So now we've got a little bit of an intro there. And the nice thing is we might have a little bit of this beat already made from this section here, this first bit, because we're kind of playing those same chords from here. So we'll start with that. Now, obviously, it's going to be a little different because we've got that other chord in there. It's not just the single chord. And we'll go ahead and get like a little, like 1, 2, 3, kick, snare kick, I think is what we're going to do. So you might not be able to see this too well, but this piano, if you're seeing those piano keys right there, these are actually the drums. Or they're supposed to make no, oh, okay, there we go. So I'm creating the drum beat with this here. So I'm adding a kick right here. And we're going to change this to a snare. There we go. So it should kind of kick in. Yeah, that kind of thing like that. All right, let's see what that sounds like. I'm not like super crazy about that beat. Like it's almost there. I don't know. It might work. Maybe. And then I think we're just going to copy and paste that. But we're going to make some adjustments this next time. So I'm just pasting it. So it's the same beat, but now I'm going to add a little variety in there. Let's see. There, I want it to do a bum, bum, bum. Bum. Right there, bum, bum. Kick, kick. Okay, so it should be matching up. Had an extra symbol in there. Yeah, right there. And I might add like a boom or something like that. Not really sure yet. We're just going to go ahead and copy and paste that again. And then we'll add a little fill at the end of this one. So. Maybe boom, 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 you know, little fill at the end of that one. Boom, boom. Yeah, so we're going to add a tom. Yeah, do a mid tom. So I'm drumming in my head as I'm programming this in. Okay, there. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Okay. So I think that's what we want. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, and then now we're getting into our verse beat here. So I'm just going to catch up with the chat real quick. Hey, Fab, hope you're doing well. Appreciate you tuning in. Just working on a song here. Let's see what people were saying about what they were watching through. Yeah, I'm just catching up. Jack was saying, I dreamt about my mother, and it was separated from my father. I remember her about to retire and telling her we'd find a nice place for her. She told me, I don't need a place because I'm dead. Sheesh, that's a scary line to hear in a dream. Yeah, I'm sure I've written it down, but I know I've heard some pretty strong lines too. What's really weird is, I think it's so weird how in dreams, like, think about it. It's all happening in your head. So you ever notice how in a dream someone can say something, but you understand, like, the subtext of what they really mean? Or someone can do a certain action, like they might do a weird movement. Or even if they just put their hand on your shoulder, you know why they did that. Like, you know what they're thinking or something. It's not like real life where you don't always know what's going on in the other person's head. But in a dream, it's all in your head. So you know exactly why somebody is acting the way they are, saying the things that they're saying. Becky was saying, I'm on my desktop with headphones. So yeah, if you're in the headphones, then you should be able to hear kind of the left and right. Sometimes if the Wi-Fi is bad, I use the TV. Yeah, I like hearing it come out of the different sides. Yeah, it's definitely, headphones are very satisfying to listen to music through. Probably my favorite way to listen through music. I mean, yeah, big speakers are fun and stuff, but headphones just really immerses you in the music, you know? Let's see here. Jack was saying I watch on my cell phone, but I only have one headphone in. Yeah, so you're not quite getting the stereo effect, but hopefully getting enough. Hey, Fab, no worries. I appreciate you tuning in. saying, I love the people very unsupportive like me. Well, hey, whenever you show up, that's showing support. And, you know, just know you're always welcome. You're never obligated, but you're always welcome. Jack, you can always rewatch the stream later with 2 headphones. There you go. Sounds much better that way, I promise. Yeah. Let's see here. Yep, I was asking about weirdest dreams. Yep, using some funny analogies there. Let's see here. Oh, cool. Jack saw weapons. What'd you think of that? It was very creepy, but also very good. I'm actually thinking of seeing that this weekend because it sounds like it's not just a straight up horror film. It sounds like it's more of a mystery and a bit of a thriller as well. And I've heard good things as well. So it sounds like one worth seeing. Plus, I've seen quite a few movies this year, so I've got a lot of Regal points, and I'm gonna use some of the points and get some kind of pretzel there. So I'm kind of looking forward to going to see a movie and treating myself to a snack. Let's see here. And yeah, Becky was commenting on the trailer, kind of reminding her of Stephen King a little bit. Let's see, I have one new song. Silas has been writing a new song, and I have 2 more thinking about writing. Awesome. Glad that's coming along well. I'm glad you're coming up with a lot of ideas. That's the fun part. Like, I mean, I was the same way. I mean, I'm still that way, but definitely when I was younger, it was like just idea after idea coming. I'd have to record them all on my phone just so I could. Again, that's how I kind of built this library of music ideas. Is teal in the title? It might be a song about feelings and not letting certain things being defined by emotions. That's an interesting concept. And then Fab's helping you with the lyrics there, finding some words that rhyme with teal. Oh, you watched the short video, Don't Move. That was pretty scary. Yeah, I thought that was really good. Again, just for like a short film of just independent filmmakers and stuff, I thought they had some really awesome costume and makeup for that, and I thought it was kind of a fun concept for a horror film. Gotcha. All right, let's get a drum beat for this verse here. So we're going to pull up the drum machine. Let's see here. 1. So we got, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I think it's going to be open hat. Yeah, I think we're going to go kind of vibey and atmospheric. So. Boom, boom. Yeah, so I think it's going to be something kind of like this. And I kind of like that extra kick in there. Like, that's how I played the riff. Dun, 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 dun. But I think the dun, 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 like that extra kick. We'll start with that for now. Again, we just kind of want to get our foundational idea, and then we can add in the details later. We can add in variations of the drum beat or little fills and things like that. So here's a common pattern I like to use with drums. So we have kind of the cymbal, and we play the beat, and then for the second measure, we're just going to play the beat without the cymbal, and we'll have a little fill at the end, like a little snare thing at the end. Be kind of cool to do a pop, pop, like a snare, snare kind of thing. And let's hit some splashes with that. So, yeah. That could be kind of cool. So we'll drag that in. Then we're going to go back to the first beat. No cymbal. Let's hear how this is sounding so far, because I need to remember what the fourth one's going to do. We might add like a bigger fill on this fourth one. So. Okay, so dun, 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 I got that delayed thing. So yeah, so the beat's not quite matching. Also, you can notice my guitar timing isn't super in sync, so I'll probably record them again, because once you have the drum beat, it's a lot easier to play with an actual drum beat. So this one, we've got to tweak. Also, sorry, I just realized I didn't bring up the drum machine there. Now you guys can see it. So that's what I'm creating the beat on. So hopefully, hopefully that was still interesting to watch. So. So I think we're gonna do kind of a dum, like kind of a early crash or splash or something. Try this. See what this sounds like. Might be kind of cool to, I don't know if I want it to like pause yet. Like, I mean, that's definitely something you could do, kind of a, like a little pause there, but. I think you could do like a cool little ride beat. Like, what if I hit a ride bell there? So like a bell. And another hat there. I think that's what was missing. Yep, so I'm playing drums in my head right now, so snare, maybe a splash here. I think it needs to go. Maybe I need to swap these. See what that does. Not sure this is working the way I'm hoping. I think there's something there. Maybe we'll do it like the second time going back into it. Like that can be our fill. So let's go back to that kind of, whoa, didn't mean to do that. Let's go back to that early sort of kind of pause thing, but I think we're going to change it to a splash. Yeah, like that. And maybe one more hi-hat in there. Let's see what that sounds like. Well, looks like it better without that hi-hat. That'll work for now. Okay. All right, cool. And then, yeah, Jack was just saying, just be prepared. It may not go in a direction you're expecting. I know it's got some twists and turns because I know it follows the perspective of different characters, and it kind of reveals, like, you think it's one thing, and then it reveals kind of new info or new context. And I'm okay with some gore. Like, gore is not really the problem for me. It's more like, you know, like, it depends on the context of the gore. Like, there's a difference between something kind of glorifying the gore, like you know, think of like the Saw franchise, not the first one, but the sequels, where pretty much the whole point was what's the most kind of messed up killing device you can come up with. And that was the entertainment, watching people kind of be mutilated in that way. That's different than, say, a character who is a villain who uses very, you know, gory methods for what they do. That's in relation to the story, if that makes sense. So it's like, one, the entertainment is the gore, but there's a difference when the gore is the entertainment versus the gore being part of the story. And it's gory because the character uses those kind of methods, or the event leads to that kind of thing. So now maybe you're like, no, this kind of highlights the gore. It's like, then we'll see, you know. Cool. All right. And y'all are having a good conversation about some good movie stuff. So cool. All right. Let me get this beat. And then I think we're going to copy and paste this one here, and then just add like a fill at the end. Like you could just do the same thing. Okay, I'm not going to do this to you all. So this is what it looks like. It's just me like kind of playing the drums and like trying to imagine the kind of fill. But for the sake of like creating something, I'm just going to kind of keep it simple. But I do have this idea to go into the toms after that splash. Something's not... Maybe try like a snare roll going into that. Maybe we'll leave that splash out. We'll just go into a fill. Yeah, something like that. That might work fine. Now we're going to take all that and we're just going to copy and paste it. That'll work for now. And then that last one, dun, dun, dun. I want to try something because that's sort of a callback to that. So I'm going to copy that little beat right there and paste it at the end. Let's change that to a snare hit. And then that would lead into, so what we're going to do here, I'm actually going to copy and paste this whole course over here. And this is, we're trying to get this to lead into our pre-course. So if all goes according to plan, it'll kind of go. The devil's a liar. Wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It kind of works. I think I'm going to change this to a kick and splash. I've got a hat there right now. Try that one, and just need to add a kick. So Yeah, it's not too bad. It actually works better than I thought it would. I thought it'd be kind of an awkward transition. Okay. Let's get some... Oh, actually, we're going to re-record the guitars now. So now that we have a proper drum beat, we can re-record the guitars, and they'll sound a lot better because I can play in sync with the drum beat. So, I'm going to save, Command S for save. Some of you, you've watched me do this before, and the program actually crashed while I was doing the stream. And that's frustrating because then everything I worked on was gone. Now, the nice thing is I still have record of that because I can just go back and rewatch the stream. But I was actually working on a pretty cool song idea when that happened. So, learn from that. Okay, so I just deleted those guitar bits. We're gonna... Let me get a little practice run in first. Make sure I can play along with this. Trying to get that ending there. Alright, so I think that's kind of cool. I'm trying to think if I like that extra palm mute, because I added an extra kick into the beat. Oh, it doesn't happen every time either. See, it's these little things. It's like, do I want that extra hit or not? I should change it. Dun 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 dun. Okay, I'm gonna go with something for now, but that's something I'm gonna have to play around with. So that is part of the process. It's like I kind of have the rhythm, but I don't know if I want it to be 3 hits, 1, 2, 3, or 4 hits, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, so we'll see. To be honest, I think I'm just gonna go with what I had originally, and I might make the drums match that, or I might change my mind later and add in that extra palm mute. But, all right, here we go. So that is, think my mic dipped out. Okay, that's one, and then we got to double track it, and then after this, we're going to do some bass. Some bass. Okay. Sorry, having some preamp issues. As you can hear. And actually, there we go. So, man. Hello, check 1, 2. It'll work itself out in a moment. Let's see here. Hello, check 1, 2. Okay. All right. So one more time. Let me just listen to that and make sure everything sounds kind of tight and together. All right, it's coming along. We just got to add some bass here. I was reading you guys' comments, so going to catch up with the chat real quick. But Jack was saying, that sounds good. Thank you. Much appreciated there. And thank you, Fab, saying I appreciate this channel, and thanks for encouraging others to like and to leave a comment. And so I appreciate that, Jack. And Becky, I saw you commenting on an adaptation of The Mist. If you mean the movie, I think it came out in 2004. Yes, I do. I remember that being a really good movie. So if that's what you're talking about, yeah, I thought that was great. That's got such a good ending, like such a tragic ending, you know? But that's a good movie. I haven't seen it in a while. I need to watch that one again at some point. And let's see. Question not related to the draft. What do you think, Quincy, might be your 3 or 5 heaviest songs? My heaviest, I think... Well, it kind of depends. I think Plastic Cup is pretty heavy. Farewell to Fear has some heavy moments, but it might not be the heaviest. Plastic Cup's pretty heavy. Technically, Waiting is quite heavy. I will say songs like Waiting and Brothers to the End, they're kind of older songs, and they're not really the direction that I'm going with my music anymore. Plastic Cup's probably more like the direction I'm going and probably kind of the heavier side of what I would do. But those songs in particular, like Brothers to the End has a really heavy breakdown when it gets near the end of the song, and Waiting has some heavy parts in it too. Not really sure, like off the top of my head. Those are kind of the first ones that come to mind when I think of what are some of my heaviest tracks. Let's see here. if Poison will be released at the end of this year, does this mean this song won't be released until next year? Yeah, just to give you the proper expectations, I'm probably only going to be able to release 2 more songs. If I could get 3, that'd be amazing, but I have a feeling I'm only going to get 2 more songs out this year. And I hope one of them is going to be Poison, but it kind of depends. Like, I had my next song in mind, and I think it's going to be a song called Pull the Trigger. I think that's what the title is going to be. But I was just kind of hitting some dead ends with it, and that's what sort of inspired me. Well, maybe I should take a break from this song rather than grinding through and trying to force this song to come through. Let me kind of write some other stuff. So it's possible the next song might be Pull the Trigger, or I might replace it with something else. If this song is totally inspiring me and I'm just like, go, go, go with this song might come out. But yeah, I have a feeling, this song is definitely in the early stages, so I have a feeling it might be one released next year. It's okay. I won't let it ruin my enjoyment. But yeah, so we'll see. But I'm liking the way this is turning out. So this is definitely going to be a song that I release at some point. But whether it's this year, I'm not sure. It might be one for next year. Because I've got 3 songs already planned that were planned to be released for this song. So I have a feeling it's going to be one of those 3 that is released. So new songs like this one are probably going to be pushed to next year. But it'll probably be early next year. Let's see here. And then, cool. All right, so I think we're all caught up. All right, let's get some bass in here. Actually going to grab this part. I think we can just copy and paste it. A few little tweaks. Again, I'm using MIDI bass, so rather than recording it, I'm just kind of like the drums. I'm programming the bass. And then we're going to change this note to that. And boom. Whoops. Has anyone else seen any good movies or anything lately? Anyone watch anything good? Again, I saw The Naked Gun on Sunday, loved it. And then other than that, I've been watching the Batman animated series, which is really good. So if you like Batman, that's a good show. Even though it's animated, it's still like really good storylines and stuff. So it's not like, it's obviously appropriate for kids, but it hasn't been dumbed down to be like a kid show. It's basically just an adult Batman show that's animated and appropriate for kids, so. Okay, let's get into this rhythm here. And again, I might have to adjust the drums a little bit. They might be okay for now, but. Let's see, we got to get an extra note here. Got to get that note. Okay, and then we're gonna, it's the same rhythm, so the nice thing, you can see this rhythm here, this group of 3s, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I can actually, if I hit the note here, I can highlight all of them and then take that same rhythm and just move them down because we're going to a lower note. We're going to this note. There we go. Man, that's so low. That's pretty cool. And then, what note is that? There we go. Yeah. And then I think we just copy and paste that. So that's the nice thing is like, yeah, copy and paste is your friend. You put in the work once and then like you can kind of save a lot of time with copy and paste. Although usually I'll add in little variations so it's not too redundant. And this one we want bomb, bomb, bomb. Okay, so cool. So I think we've got a verse. If I can write a melody, that would be killer. That'd be so good if I could come up with a melody. Let's listen to what we've got so far. So coming along, I'd love to come up with a melody. I'm going to go ahead and save, and we'll see if we can find something that works. So I'll probably just kind of sing along with it and see what we come up with. We had some good questions in the chat. Let me catch up here. Silas was asking, so what songs most possibly will be released for this year? And kind of along with that, Becky was asking, did you already do a My Process segment for Pull the Trigger? Was it one from 2 months ago? So one thing you should know is not every song I'm working on, I don't display every song I'm working on for the My Process segment. And the reason why is because I want this segment to be entertaining for you all. And like I said, probably the most exciting part is when I have a few ideas and I just need to record them. So that's kind of the fun part to watch, is hearing this basic idea and then hearing it evolve and come to life. But then once the initial ideas are out, then it's a lot of kind of tedious work, and it's not as, I don't think it's as interesting to watch because it's my art. So it's very, like, I'm very thorough with it. I'm not just like, yeah, that works. I'm not, when I'm on my own, I'm not pressured to be entertaining or anything like that. So again, I almost demonstrated a little bit, like when I'm doing that like drum beat stuff, again, I'll spend quite some time just trying to figure out the right beat for that part of the song, but that's maybe not the most fun thing for you guys to watch. So I have some ideas that are more finished than like what you're hearing right now. This is something, again, very in the early stages, and I have some songs that were already, like I already had kind of some demos recorded for them, so there really wasn't anything for me to show in a My Process segment. And now Silas was asking, so what songs are you thinking? I'll tell you the demo titles I have for them, but again, this isn't a guarantee. Anything's kind of up for change. The songs I was planning to release, the next one I think is going to be called Pull the Trigger, and that's the one that I'd been working on it, and then I took a break from it, and I came back, and coming back with fresh ears really helps. And I really like that idea. I've got to finish the lyrics. I'm pretty sure the chorus is done, and so I do think the song is going to be called Pull the Trigger. So that was going to be the next release. I think it's still going to be the next release, but I'm not totally sure. And then there were 2 more songs. There's one, I don't even have any lyrics for it yet. So the current name for it, it's just called 5 Melody Groove. And the reason it's called 5 Melody Groove is because it's in a 5/4 timing. So the count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what the 5 means. And then melody groove, it's kind of got a pretty distinctive melody for the riff. Like, it's a very melodic riff, but it's kind of got like a nice groove to it. There's something really cool about it. So those were they're all very descriptive words to describe the riff of the song, but I have no idea. And I would describe it as it's a heavy song, and it's kind of experimental. It's kind of one of my more experimental ones. Like, I still think it sounds cool. I still think it sounds catchy, but it's not catchy like a radio song. This isn't a song that you're probably going to hear on a radio. The Pull the Trigger, that's a catchy one. That's one that yeah, I could imagine that one being on the radio back in the day or on MTV or something like that. So Pull the Trigger's kind of like my radio one, and then 5 Melody Groove is a little bit more like still a song idea that I really like, that I think sounds really cool, but it's not really that radio hit single kind of sound. And then the third option is Poison, which you guys have kind of heard, and that one's more of a ballad. It's probably going to have, well, it's definitely going to have piano in it, so a little bit of a softer song. That one, again, that one I think the chorus is done, and I have kind of a few lines, and I've actually got like a basic arrangement for it. I just need to figure out the rest of the instruments and the layers and figure out kind of the flow of it, because it's going to gradually get more intense as it goes on. So that one I haven't messed around with recently, but that's one that I was planning. That was going to be the last song for the year, and it very well might still be the last one. So I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all three, or if it's just going to be 2 of those. And if it's only going to be 2, I'm not sure which one's going to get pushed to next year. So it's a little bit up in the air. Let's see here. And then Silas was asking, are your bass lines often more similar or more different than your guitar riffs? They're often very similar, and it kind of depends on the style of music you do. For what I do, I like a lot of things to be in sync. That's kind of what creates the most punch, is when things are synced up. So like I'll kind of give you an example. Like I can play the riff on guitar, and here's kind of what's happening with this song. Let me get my guitar tone coming through. Okay, so like those verses. So what's kind of cool is I'm actually playing an inverted power chord. So here's the root note. I'm tuned in drop C, so that is an A right there, okay? But, all right, so that's the root note, and then in the power chord, I've got the 5th right here. So that harmonizes with it and creates that chord. But usually in metal, we want it to sound heavy and low, so a really cool trick, when you're playing a higher chord like this, one way you can make it sound lower is by inverting the power chord. So this harmony note, this 5th right here, that same note is an octave lower right here. So instead of playing this, I can play this. And hear how they kind of blend together. And it still sounds like an A. It's still got that root note, but that lower note kind of blends in and makes it sound a little heavier. So we got this versus this. And then even better, the bass is playing this A, but it's playing it an octave lower, so that blends in. So when you've got those chords blending together, let me find like just the guitar and the bass. Let me go. So right here. So they're kind of blending in and kind of just creating a heavier, thicker sound. So the bass, pretty much for that section, the bass is just playing the root notes. If I had a bass guitar, that's what I would be playing. Now, maybe I'll add some stuff in there, like... you know, maybe I will. I'm not really sure yet, because again, I'm still in the early stages. So sometimes you can add like some other stuff. But usually when you want something to sound like punchy and heavy, usually simple is better. You're just going to play the root note and you're just going to blend in. It's like the bass is kind of a part of the guitar. But every now and then you get certain sections where the bass can do like a, you know. You can do like a little bass line with the bass and stuff. Will this song allow for that? I'm not really sure. That's something I'll have to experiment with. So, but in general, I would say I would say I definitely use my bass to support the guitar. That's kind of the main thing. Especially since I'm programming bass, I don't see too much reason to highlight it unless there's something I can hear in my head that sounds really good and I want the bass to do that. But if you're having a real bassist, then like a real person playing bass, then sometimes maybe there's something cool they can come up with. And even if it doesn't perfectly, create the punchiest sound, if it kind of just creates a cool moment for the bass or something, it might be worth exploring, It just kind of depends on the situation. Let's see, sorry, catching back up with the chat. That's what I wanted to know was the titles. Yep, those are the titles. Do you think the parts of Poison you showed us will make it to the final version? Probably. Again, they'll probably still be refined, but I remember when I was working on Poison, because like I said, the nice thing about that song is I could play the whole song on piano. Like, I've got the full arrangement. What I don't know is what the other instruments are doing yet. So I'm still kind of figuring out the guitar parts, the drum beats, the bass parts, and any other elements that I might add in there. That's kind of what I need to figure out. So kind of what I showed you is probably going to be very similar to what makes it. But again, it'll be more refined. It'll definitely be more polished by the time I get to the end of it. The lyrics and melody got stuck in my head. If you mean for Poison, that's great. If you mean for this song, that's good too. But yeah, definitely, yeah, if you've got Poison stuck in your head, well, thank you. That's the goal. That's the goal, is to write melodies and chords that just kind of that stick in your head. That's what I want to do. So thank you for sharing that. That means a lot. Might see Switchfoot live this month. That's cool. To be honest, you're actually reminding me. I still need to check. Let me look real quick. I think Chevelle is actually coming pretty close to me. Chevelle's coming to Virginia Beach and Washington, D.C. on August 30th and August 31st. So I don't know yet if I'm planning to go to that show or not. I think I'm going to go if if there's nothing coming up and I'm able to. I'd love to see Chevelle live. That's a little bit of a further drive than where I went for the last show. I think Virginia Beach is a little further than Richmond was, but not much. So we'll see. Yep, Jack, if you're making dinner, you'll have to let me know what's on the menu for tonight. Let's see here. My favorite of theirs is either Meant to Live or Afterlife. Hopefully they'll play those. It's really cool. Yeah, you'll definitely have to let me know how the show is. I'm happy for you that you're going to get to see Switchfoot. I bet that's going to be a great show. We've got cheese, lettuce, tomato, and onion on flatbread. Sounds good to me. Sounds like a good sandwich. Yep, Poison in my head. Well, awesome. Glad it's sticking in your head. That's good. I'm also seeing The Offspring and Jimmy Eat World together. That would be a good one. Yep, that'd be a good show as well. All right, guys, we got just a little more time. I'm gonna try to come up with a melody, and then maybe we'll put a wrap on this. So the melody process, there's kind of two ways I might try to do it. One, I kind of sing along, just kind of da-da-da, doodly-doo, just kind of do that, sort of sing along with it over and over. And another way, I might sort of grab the guitar and kind of pick the melody. Now, one thing that kind of helps, we've got one little clue here. If we go to the end of the track, again, at the very end of the verse, notice the next melody comes in early. The devil. So since that comes in early, I got to make sure that whatever I write, it's not going to clash with that. Like, the melody needs to end sooner so that it makes room for that next part to come in. All right, so we're going to kind of listen. And yeah, sort of the da-na-na-na, like those notes. I'm not sure where I want them, but those are kind of the notes that I'm liking right now. Yeah, so right now, as you can hear, I'm just kind of like wandering in the dark. I'm definitely not finding the thing yet that's like, that's it, you know. I'm trying to find that, but we'll see. We'll kind of, let me try with the guitar a little bit. I feel a little awkward kind of just singing it, and maybe kind of noodling will help me find little phrases of melody that I like. Maybe something like that. Yeah, not really sure. Like, I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's like a first idea, and then I'll have to, you know, kind of play around. Like, usually I'll come up with a few melodic options and then pick the one that is like sticking in my head and stuff. So, cool. Let's see. Yeah, Jack talking about the dinner option. Love how this is sounding. Well, cool, Silas. And yep, agreed, Silas. It's sounding great. Well, I'm glad you guys are digging it. Yeah, I'm still a little like it's kind of cool, but sometimes you play around with some notes and then it's just you need to try like a different angle. So we'll see. You know, I'll definitely play with it some more. Kind of thinking, yeah. So. I think that's what I wanted to do the next time is go up, so. And my concern, though, is I want to make sure that's going to lead into the devil's a liar, so. Awesome. Thank you, Silas, saying, yeah, Quincy really helped make me confident to write songs. Well, glad to help, and definitely keep it up. I'm glad you're writing songs. I love writing songs, and so, you know, anytime you have questions or need some advice or encouragement or whatever, just let me know, because I think it's awesome that you're writing your own songs as well. I'm going to kind of try singing with this a little bit. I want to see how it goes into that pre-chorus melody. So, my only concern is I just want to make sure the melody leads into that one a little bit. I don't know if I can end on a high note. I might have to head downward. If I go up and then I go down, it might be just a bit too much of a shift. Like, that's kind of my initial instinct, you know. I've had enough of you. Well, I mean, that might kind of work, actually. I've had enough of you. The devil's a liar. Might be kind of cool, you know. And that lyric, you know, I've had enough of you, and then going into the devil's a liar. So, that might be. I'm so exhausted from all I've heard. These voices crowding up my head. I feel so tired. I can't ignore. I've had enough of you. Devil's a liar. I mean, that might work. I've had enough of you. I've had enough. From long before. Yeah, so now I'm just kind of thinking it through. Hopefully that's okay to watch. Hey, we got Daniel. Daniel, appreciate you tuning in. I'll let you hear what we got so far. Let's see. Good evening. Stopping by for a bit as I'm cleaning my pedal board. About to go jam and crank it loud with some coworkers. That's awesome. I hope you have fun doing that. Glad you're getting a chance to do that. Let me share with you what we got going on. This I don't know if you heard last week, I was talking about how I actually had a dream last week, and I was playing a song in the dream, and it sounded pretty cool. And I woke up, and it was so hard to remember. I grabbed my guitar, and I put my hands where they were in the dream, but it didn't sound like what I was hearing in the dream. And the more you mess with it, like the more you forget what you originally heard. And so it was really just like a few little little tidbits that I could remember from the dream. And I sort of took that, but it did inspire a chorus, and we kind of got a bit of a song here. Right now, I've got a verse, and there's no guarantee that this is going to be the verse. So far, it's kind of working. I'm kind of digging it, but there's probably going to be some variations or iterations I might go through with it. So we've got a little bit of a verse, and then we've got a pre-chorus and a chorus. So I'll let you hear what we've got so far. I'm trying to write a melody for the verse. I've already got a melody for the pre-chorus and chorus, but this is what we've got so far.
devil's a liar, you're not undesired. And it's time you hear the truth. There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change. Cause you're so much more than useless. All you need to do is realize that you can change. Cause you're so much better, and we need you more than ever. Open up your heart to the gift inside of you.
So that's what we've got so far. I think the song is going to be called The Gift Inside of You. And I'm trying to come up with a melody for the verse right now. And yeah, Daniel's saying, oh, wow, I thought this was a song you were covering. Sounds awesome. Well, thanks. I'm glad you're digging the way it sounds. And if it sounds like I'm covering something, that's probably a good sign. So this is the one he started writing after dreaming on the lyrics last week. Yep. And yeah, I had a dream. It was that one line, just the devil's a liar. And I was able to, I don't know if you guys are like this. I think, you know, I'm obviously a creative person. Like, I enjoy being creative, and it's the way my mind kind of works. So I think it's a creative person thing. You can give them like one little prompt, and then their brain is like, can just go like a bunch of different directions with it. So that's really all you need to give a creative person. It's just like a line, and then they can, based off of that one line, they can figure out what the song might be about and that kind of thing. Or you can give them a little melody, and they can, you know, they can kind of take it and run with it. So I'll play on guitar. Here's kind of the verse melody I'm thinking so far. So here's our intro. So I think I'm liking that. Let's try it, like, let's try singing it. I'm seeing if I can remember it. So,
You say you're tired of feeling you're always searching for something new. You've done so wondering, it's time to go. I've had enough of you.
so I kind of got the right idea. I've had enough of you. The only problem with that lyric is the perspective. It's kind of saying, I've had enough, but I think in the song I'm talking to somebody else. You know, there's a gift inside of you. You know, I'm talking to the listener, really. And And so I want to think of a single person that I'm talking to. So the verse is probably going to be like talking about this person, you know, you've been so da 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 da. You know, you is what we're saying. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to change that line. If I was singing from my perspective, I've had enough of you would kind of lead into that. Again, but we're not trying to write lyrics right now. So if I sing like random sentences, it's just so I have something to sing. Obviously, it's gonna make sense when I write them later, but I want to come up with at least one little transition line. I'm just gonna sing something like generic, like it's time to let this go. You know, you've held on too long, it's time to let this go. So that's kind of what we're going to go with. It's time to let this go. Something like that. All right, we're just going to kind of wing it. I'm just going to beep bop here a little bit. See what we get. You're getting closer to the edge. You just can't seem to understand. You're so more precious. Can't you say it's time to let this go? All right. That might have recorded a little quiet. It might be okay. Just kind of freestyling some lyrics there. Trying to edit this so I can drag it down. Ugh. Come on. It's being a little finicky. Yeah, whatever. Hopefully that'll be okay. There we go. All right, let's see what that sounded like. We're getting closer to the edge. You just can't seem to understand. You're so more precious. Can't you say it's time to let this go? The devil's a liar. You're not undesired. And it's time you hear the truth. There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change. 'Cause you're so much more than useless. All you need to do is realize that you can change. 'Cause you're so much better. And we need you more than ever. Open up your heart to the gift inside of you. So kind of cool. Again, some of those lyrics sort of worked, of kind of talking to someone who's finding themselves in a dark place and sort of thinking low of themselves. And my character in the song is trying to kind of reassure them, like, hey, you got to stop thinking this way. You know, these are lies. They're not, this isn't who you are. You know, you're really belittling yourself, and it's not true. And so, yeah, so we'll see. Let's see here. This one should be really good. Well, thanks, Daniel. Yeah, hopefully so. I think it's coming along pretty cool. Not sure. I'm at a little bit of kind of a stopping point, and it might be good timing because, you know, we are getting near the end of the stream here. I tell you what, I'm going to listen to it one more time. I'll be honest. So I don't know what you guys think, but this is part of the process. Like when I'm writing a song, a big part of the process is just sitting back and listening to it over and over again. Because I'm not just listening to what I made and just being like, yep, I want to hear it again. You know, I'm kind of listening and listening for what it could be. I'm like kind of trying to hear other instruments or guitar layers or or whatever it might be. And also just trying to listen and make sure it actually works. So yeah, that's part of the process too. I feel a little like when I'm just playing it over and over again, I feel like that's going to be a little redundant for you guys, but just know that that's part of the process is kind of listening to it and then starting it over and listening to it again and just kind of getting a sense. I'm going to go ahead and save. I do have a feeling that's probably going to be a wrap, but let's listen to it one more time and kind of see what we've got here.
We're getting closer to the edge. We just can't seem to understand. You're so more precious. Can't you say it's time to let this go? The devil's a liar. You're not undesired. And it's time you hear the truth. There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change. 'Cause you're so much more than useless. All you need to do is realize that you can change. 'Cause you're so much better. And we need you more than ever. Open up your heart to the gift inside of you.
All right, I'm kind of digging it. I think it sounds pretty cool. Again, I'll have to sort of step away from it and come back. That's really what confirms it. You know, when you're kind of in it in the moment, you just sort of, I don't know, you kind of get honed in on the details. It's really when you take a break and then you come back, because again, it's not like I've got this memorized yet. You know, I'm just creating this song. So if I go to bed tonight and I wake up tomorrow, I'm probably not going to remember exactly how it sounds. So then when you hear it with fresh ears and you're like, you know, that's when you can really tell if it hits right or not. So from what I can tell, like I'm actually kind of like right now I feel hopeful. I'm like, before the stream I was a little uncertain. I'm like, yeah, I kind of have an idea, but I don't know if it's going to be any good. And but kind of hearing it, like I think there's a cool kind of sense of like tension, you know.
We're getting closer to the edge. We just can't.
Like, I like that kind of sense of tension that's sort of building there. Now, again, I might modify some things. Like, that's probably the foundation of the idea, but there could be some adjustments sort of made. But I like that tension, and then it kind of works nicely. We've got sort of a darker sounding verse, and then we've got sort of it sort of shifts to something more hopeful.
It's time to let this go. The devil's a liar. You're not undesired.
So it gets small, and that's going to help the chorus kick in nice and big, but it's sort of got like a more sort of hopeful and very like emotional desperation kind of vibe to it.
And it's time you hear the truth. There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change. 'Cause you're so much more than useless. All you need to do is realize that you can change. 'Cause you're so much better. And we need you more than ever. Open up your heart.
And then we go back.
The gift inside of you.
I'll give you guys one little kind of snippet of what could happen, because obviously it's ending right there. But what it could do if I cut this out. Oh, I think I deleted my my mic track. Didn't mean to do that. So at the end there, pretty much what you could do, I could literally just like copy and paste all this. So just to kind of give you a sense, I hope this pastes correctly. Yes. Yeah, that worked. Yeah, so at the end of that chorus, it could go back to the intro.
And we need you more than ever. Open up your heart to the gift inside of you. to the edge, you just can't seem.
So that's kind of like a little sample of how the arrangement might go. It'd probably go back to the intro. Now the intro might be shorter. It might just be
Hard to forget inside of you. Forgetting.
it might be closer, and then verse 2 might be something different. Maybe it'll go to like a tom beat or something like that. Or actually, again, I feel like this is right, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to stay with this kind of groove. But I actually thought of doing something like upbeat with the snare, like we'll do it for fun real quick. Again, I don't know that it's going to work, but sometimes it's just kind of fun to experiment with something. So yeah, let's see, bump, bump. So I think the snares would go here. And yeah, this is kind of, this, now I'm just playing, you know, so. Oh yeah, that was kind of cool already, just that first hit. I don't know, this might work. Let's see what happens. Whoops, not what I wanted. Still not what I wanted. There we go. So
you're getting close.
So okay, so make sure I got, yeah, I missed the snare there. And did I get that one last time? I think I missed that one too. Oh no, okay, that's what it's supposed to do, so.
You're getting closer to the edge, you just can't seem to.
So the guitars aren't quite as tight with it. Like I probably have to re-record the guitars. Right now they sound like they're dragging a little bit because I recorded them with the other beat. But
understand yourself.
So I mean it'd be kind of cool. You know?
You're getting closer to the edge, you just can't seem to understand.
You know, I'd have to play around with it and see if I could make it work and stuff. But it sounded better than I thought it would. You know, I was like, it's not gonna fit, but it's kind of neat. That's the fun part. You just see what happens. You try something and be like, let's see what this does, and kind of see what happens. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Yeah, Becky was saying, not at all. I never get sick of your voice, Quincy. Well, thank you. Well, I'm glad you enjoy hearing it, because, yeah, Jack was saying I was listening passively as I cleaned up the dishes. Yep, Jack was just finishing up dinner, it sounds like. Daniel saying, I know what you mean. I suggest after the stream you carry on and work on it. I know how creativity can be addicting, especially with music. Yeah, definitely. Silas was saying, oh, sorry I didn't respond tonight. I'm hoping to make a cover video of a worship song, King of Kings. Yep, I think he was updating maybe Daniel and Jack on that because Becky and I had heard that earlier, but definitely looking forward to hearing that. It does sound good. Yep, Jack was kind of digging it. Silas was saying, I was actually thinking of a different song from Sunday school, but when I Googled the lyrics, but I'll watch your video when you upload it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, the title sounds familiar, but then again, King of Kings is kind of a common phrase in the scripture, and so there's probably a lot of songs that use that phrase or that title or something like that. All right, guys. Well, I do think this is going to be it, but we'll have kind of one last little listen through just to hear what this song can be, and then I think we're going to put a wrap on this. So this is the last listen through, and then we'll move on. So here we go. I guess here's a little teaser of the gift inside of you.
We're getting closer to the edge. You just can't seem to understand. You're so more precious. Can't you say it's time to let this go? The devil's a liar. You're not undesired. And it's time you hear the truth. There's a gift inside of you that can make the world change. 'Cause you're so much more than useless. All you need to do is realize that you can change. 'Cause you're so much better. And we need you more than ever. Open up your heart to the gift inside of you. You're getting closer to the edge. You just can't seem to understand.
Yeah, I kind of like verse 2 could be a little more upbeat like that or something. So as I was listening through, I do think that interlude's going to be shorter. Like again, here I am, you know, I'm saying I'm done, and then here I am. I'm like, well, I could fix this real quick, you know. That's how it goes. You think you're done, and then you have other ideas pop up. So, but I'm thinking of cutting out that little bit there. So it would be kind of a little shorter interlude.
We need you more than ever. Open up your heart to the gift inside of you. We're getting closer to the edge.
Yeah, that way it's kind of, you try to keep it all killer and no filler, you know? Like you don't want to indulge in something too long. You kind of want to give a little taste and then just get back to something good. But that happens during the process. As you're working on the song, the first draft might be a little lengthy, and then you're looking for sections to cut out or kind of make it a little tighter so that it just stays interesting and engaging the whole time. Even this first intro, like now that I'm saying that, like doing it twice might be a little excessive. Maybe adding like a guitar lead that second time. Again, here I am, like now my brain's like, oh, I could do this and that and that. I think that might work. So like, you know, something like that, some kind of little lead. I'll record it for now, just so I've kind of got it in my back pocket. I don't know if I'll use it or not, but... Don't quite have that last part. if it's that. So now I'm just trying to get it right. I'm going to play it twice for practice. There we go. I like that better. So... So, you know, we could have something like that, and I'll go ahead and throw it in here. Make a duplicate of this. Whoops. Just gonna make a little mono lead track. There we go. So mono just means it's straight up the middle. And we're going to pull this down there. All right, let's, whoops, didn't mean to do that. So let's see what that sounds like. Okay, that's a sign. Yeah, so now Logic's starting to act up a little bit, so let me save. There's something there. I don't have it quite yet, but I like that ending bit. It's just a matter of getting it to fit right. So anyway, there you go. There's a little kind of window into what my process looks like and how it goes. So Daniel, appreciate you stopping by. You might be gone now. Can't wait to hear how it turns out. I'm going to head out. Y'all have a good night. Hey, I hope you have fun too, Daniel. I know you're going to jam and looking forward to that. So hope it goes great. Let's see here. The song I was thinking of is called Oil in My Lamp. Okay, cool. From Sunday School. Love the progress. Thank you, Silas. Thank you for the hearts, Becky. Let's see here. Thanks for the stream, Quincy. Good night. Appreciate you tuning in, Jack. Hope you have a good night as well. And yep, I hope you have nice dreams too. I hope you all have good dreams tonight. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Last thing I'll say, you know, if I hope you enjoyed it. That's just a little window into my process and what it looks like. Again, I just love, it's a discovery process. So when you're like, when you find something, you're like, ooh, there's something there, and it's just fun to kind of explore. It's like a path, and you just kind of explore it and see where it takes you. So I think it's coming out pretty cool. I hope you guys are digging it, and you know, kind of keep an eye out for the gift inside of you. It's probably a song that's going to come sometime in the near future. So guys, thank you so much. If you do enjoy these streams, let me just say that I've got a link. It's pinned at the top, and I just posted it in the chat. If you want to show some support to me, first off, be sure to sign up for my email list. You can find it at the bottom of that link. Signing up for the email list helps me to let you know when I release songs. So if you want to know when the song is released, signing up my email list will help you be one of the first to know and have early access to it. If you want to show some support for what I do, if you enjoy what I do and you want to show some financial support, there's a link to a merch store as well and a virtual tip jar. If you want to provide something, I certainly appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much. Yep, another great stream. Thanks, Quincy. My pleasure, Becky. I appreciate you tuning in. And hope you dream some more great lyrics. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe after working on this, maybe I'll go to bed and have a few more lyrics in mind. So we'll see what happens. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Until next time.